On today's episode, we explore what actually constitutes a productive workout and how sweating isn't always the answer. Fitness marketing is convincing millions of individuals that pseudoscience and quick fix products have all the answers. We are here to combat that with the latest science and research, along with our unique style of communication and entertainment. My name is Fran Ramsden, and this is the HealthForce podcast. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. RamsandEliteFitness.com, RamsandEliteFitness.com. I made an Instagram post this morning, and I think it's very, very relevant to some of the current landscape that's happening in the fitness industry, as well as some preconceived notions and a little bit of misinformation or skewing some factual items, which allows me to creatively think about ways to tackle that on the podcast. Anytime that we're dealing with either misinformation or a misperception about the reality, it gives us a great opportunity to make a podcast out of it and actually deliver on practical solutions for you in the audience. Now, as per usual, we will be setting some context up briefly, and then we're going to get into actually how to formulate a productive and beneficial exercise routine / regimen / program, whatever you want to call it, for yourself. Tailor-made for yourself, which is what I believe to be one of the very few and only ways to actually make sure that your time spent chasing health and fitness goals actually has the opportunity to become a reality at some point. Okay? Might sound tough, but this is a tough love episode. Too many people are playing around still with their health and fitness, much more concerned with the public perception, the society pressures, that people actually aren't just becoming like lazy or obese or any of that kind of stuff that gets that super negative connotation with it. And I think people are still caring way too much about just looking like they're trying than actually trying to achieve fitness results. Now, who do I blame for that? Well, I'm actually very, very sympathetic and empathetic towards the actual clientele. We're speaking general population, individuals, people that are overweight, people that have type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, all those health markers. If you're somebody that is not in the acceptable zones for that, this would apply to you. You know, I'm very, very empathetic towards you because I feel like fitness marketing is duping the majority of you into different products, and products that are meant to be sold and to make money, not necessarily to deliver results. So on one hand, how can I possibly expect someone in the general population, with everything else that's going on in their life, family, kids, and a wife, to their work? Sometimes we're at least in our country, in America, here we're working 40, 50-hour weeks, high levels of stress with everything else that's going on top of the job. I mean, we now have a lot of conditions that are brought on by stress, things like IBS. Just essentially our bodies are not built to withstand the certain pressures that we're putting on ourselves, lack of sleep in most cases. So just an interesting dynamic, and I think how can somebody possibly weed through all the fitness marketing to figure out what's real and what's not? So on one hand, there's that. But on the other, part of me still wants to hold individuals to their own feet to the fire, personal responsibility, accountability. How many times? I'm going to ask this question. I've asked it before on previous podcasts and previous videos and things like that. How many times do people have to go through the same merry-go-round before they realize that the merry-go-round is going backwards, before it's broken? These pop-up boot camp things that are happening everywhere. We've got butt classes. We've got, yoga and Pilates that are skewing results in a way that they're trying to make it seem like it's exactly comparable to a true fat loss program instead of being a complementary for flexibility, mindfulness, things like that. We've got boxing now that's getting in there trying to get on this fat loss train. Everybody's getting into this market because there's a market there. There's a ginormous need. There's a lot of people looking for fat loss. So my thing is, how many times do we got to try things before we get back to what we know works, but we just hate it, which is good old-fashioned hard work. Implementing a exercise program that is tailored to you as an individual, not just created in mass and sent to everybody. It's created for you based upon your background, your skill set, your health markers currently, and to complement that, a nutrition plan, again, according to yourself, tailored to you, that takes into account your preferences and deals with things that you can't stand having, right? Now, there's a reason why we're adverse to this sort of training program. Number one, they're becoming few and far between. Most people are either selling out for the group fitness model because of the money that can be made in it, or there's just not that many people that are opening up these sort of places fresh, right? New businesses are not tending to head towards like a one-on-one setting. They're heading towards group stuff. So that's first and foremost. But second of all, and what I think is the most important, is because it just takes time. It does. And I mean, if I were to propose this question to you here, what would you rather have? Results in 8 months, or some results in 3 months, but then you bounce back at the 6-month mark and you're back to square one? Like, what would you rather have? And now I know every single person on here, if you're thinking rationally, is going to say option one, give me the results in 8 months that are sustainable. But our actions are not backing that up. So to complicate that scenario, I've laid out, to simplify it again, to bring it back down to earth, yes, people are being tricked in fitness marketing, but there has got to be more self-responsibility. We've got to stop falling for marketing. That's all it is. It's emotional, heartstrings. If it's too good to be true, it usually is. All right? But you know who I really blame. You all know, if you listen to our podcast, I cannot stand scammers and people that are in it for selfish reasons. This is not the industry to do it. Now, obviously, no industry has room for that. But of all the industries in the world, right? Entertainment, magic tricks, like, you know, that nothing is as consequential as false hope and scam type of stuff in the health and fitness industry. I mean, these are people's lives at stake. And the fact that there's individuals out there either selling supplements that they have no idea what they actually are, that alone blows my mind. Let me slow this down. Let me say it again. Perk your ears up. Do you have any idea the number of people that are out there selling supplements right now on social media, Beachbody, Shakeology coaches, that they actually don't comprehend what their products are selling? They don't actually know the benefits or the perceived benefits. They just want to earn a commission structure. They make money. Don't give me that. I want to help people. Okay, well, guess what? I want to help people too. I'm not going to turn into a surgeon and, you know, fly off to Syria or the war zones around the world and start performing surgery on people. Okay, you got to understand your role. There's plenty of ways to help people. But if you don't have a background in nutritional sciences, if you don't have a background in exercise physiology, you really shouldn't be working with people in a context of health and fitness. My personal opinion, but I think it's a pretty sound one. So I blame them first and foremost. This is not the industry for that, but unfortunately, that's what we have. Profitability, man. Sometimes the free market sometimes will reward people regardless of whether or not they actually in reality help people. Sometimes about the perception, because people are able to buy things at their own will. So that's the context for today. Now, the Instagram post that I made, again, you can go to our Instagram, Ramsden Elite Fitness, one word, Ramsden Elite Fitness. I posted a video, or it's not even a video, it's a picture of myself sweating at the gym. I was just working out and I was having a lot of sweat. And I decided to take like a selfie right to the face, camera to the face, and to capture the sweat and to make a post saying that, look, sweat is not an indicator of a successful workout. And I think too many people think that that is the case. We've become tied, which is very strange. We're tied to the perception that if we sweat all over the place, if we're sore the next day, that somehow indicates that was a great workout the day before. You know? And that's not really the case. It's completely feasible, as I made in a follow-up Instagram video, which will be the video right next to the sweat picture, where I said it's completely capable to go an hour and a half in the gym, perform strength training exercises, take long rest periods, and for somebody not to break even one drop of sweat. Now, does that mean that workout is completely useless? They might even go home that day, feel fine, wake up the next morning, and there's no soreness. Does that mean that their workout, again, I'm going to ask again, does that mean that their workout was a waste? The answer is obvious, no. But once again, here's a tactic, folks. So perk your ears up. This is very important. We are exposing a marketing tactic. People would have you believe that if you hop around like a bunny, you bop around from station to station, you're in a group of 40 people, you're moving around doing little jumping jacks, you're doing little knee raise things, and you're not really incorporating things like individualized strength training or cardio that's efficient for your current level of cardiovascular health, that, oh my God, my shirt is drenched afterwards, that was a great workout. We're being fooled into that. I also additionally believe, for people that are on the computer and social media, that buying a workout template, which is what it is, it's disguised as any sort of workout program, online personal training, any of those are really just templates that some individual created on either an Excel spreadsheet, a Word document, and they just email it once you pay them $50. I would again argue that premise, that some individual somewhere creates some sort of master workout program, right? It's the perfect workout program. That somehow that can apply to every single individual the same way, and that it gives them an excellent workout experience. Just on the face of that, if we're using rational thought, how many of you actually believe that that's possible? One individual or one company creates some sort of workout program, and they'll give it a fancy name that's going to give you emotional pull string. So think about something like the body of a Spartan, or fitness model chick butt workout, like something like that. It's pre-typed up because as soon as you put your email and credit card in, it's in your inbox. So like these people aren't making these things. It's already pre-made up. You give them your money, they email you the workout. How many of us believe that that's actually a successful method for the majority of people that buy that program? The answer should be a very low percentage. Now, I'm not opposed to all pre-done workout programs. I just happen to believe that most people lack the self-awareness of themselves to accurately judge the intensity of a program for themselves. So, for instance, if you go on like bodybuilding.com or T-Nation, any of these websites that have workouts on them, and the average individual's ability to judge if a program is going to be good for them or not is not very high. Okay, and again, when you factor in everything, I can understand how individuals might think that I'm trying to smack talk general population or something to that effect, and that's just not the case. Again, I'm trying to give you this context. Look at all the things that we're dealing with in our lives. Do you really think most people can spend additional time researching all the information that they need to know about exercise, physiology, nutrition, supplementation, and like what rep set makes sense, and hypertrophy phase, and undulated periodization? Like, do you think people are actually going to be out of time to research all that? No, most people, here's what happens. Wow, I want to have a nice bicep. I'm a dude, beach season's coming up, I want to show off my guns. I'm going to Google bicep workout or arm workout. And one of the first ones that come up on Google, I'm going to click It's going to show some jack dude, I can get this custom Spartan arm workout, soldier workout program for $59.97. I put my email, I put my credit card, and it's sent to me. How do I know if that's a plan for me? How do I know if that's a plan for me? So it's not that I'm against pre-done programs, because here's a little secret. I actually do not make my own workouts up. I don't make my own workouts up. I see it as my duty as an exercise professional to stay up to date on different techniques and different styles and to incorporate that into my own if I feel it's beneficial. So I often will sample a bunch of different workouts, usually in the form of 4 to 8 weeks that change up, depending on my goals. But I'm intrigued by it because that's how people learn. That's how I learn. But most of you aren't going to be instructing individuals, so you don't have the need to learn like I do. So it's not that I'm always against it. Now, if you're somebody that's been working out for 10 years on a consistent basis, you're always in the gym, maybe even you're in a bodybuilder, you can certainly have an understanding of what intensity is correct for you. But again, when we're speaking to the masses here, most people aren't going to understand it, and that's the beauty of marketing. Like when P90X got humongous, people were buying that thing because they were watching the guy, hold himself up vertical or horizontal to the ground on a flagpole thing. I mean, people were watching these dudes on the video get ripped, and they just said, well, I can do that because that's for me. And they found out very quickly that that it's a lot harder than that. P90X is one of the best-selling home workout videos ever, but how many people do you think actually finished that thing and got ripped and chiseled? My guess is not very many. I bet you we all know people that did P90X, and they're not looking like those dudes in the video. And that's just real talk. Because that sort of workout style might not have been for them. Now, how do we go about creating a workout program that's going to have the right intensity? How do we, go through this? How do we navigate this aspect of fitness? Well, first off, it's very hard, especially if you're somebody that doesn't have the time and energy to put into the knowledge aspect of working out. Okay? Unfortunately, for these people, it's going to be trial and error. Now, I hate using that in most cases because it usually means that there's not a good answer and people just have to kind of filter through it. But it's true. If you're somebody that hasn't weightlifted in 7 years, don't expect to come back and be able to hop into some crazy workout that has you going to the gym 6 days a week lifting weights. Like, it's just probably not going to happen. So if you're somebody that's coming from scratch, and I mean, you might have an active job, maybe you have to walk around a lot. That's not the same as weightlifting. So when you start an exercise program, number one, it better have weightlifting. But you're going to have to kind of I'd start with 2 or 3 days a week weightlifting, and then maybe 2 days of cardio. And then, there's your 4 to 5 days a week. But that's going to be the first thing, is that our recommendation from Rimsley Fitness is 4 to 6 days of some sort of planned activity. Okay, some sort of planned activity. So no, if your job has you working outside like manual labor and construction, as physically demanding as that is, to me, that's not going to take the place of an actual planned workout where you go to the gym and you lift weights, you do some cardio, and you're out of there. You might have to scale it down. You might not have to do as much as somebody that has a desk job. Maybe you can have a 35-minute workout as opposed to somebody that needs an hour and 10 minutes. But don't think that because you shovel something all day that, that's it, I don't need to strength train. I'm getting all my strength training right now. It's not the case. So I think if you're somebody that has 0, start with 2 to 3 of lifting and go and use cardio 2 or 3 times. So we recommend a total of 4 to 6 days a week in the gym to start, just doing something, even if it's 15 minutes. Once you're into this trial and error phase, we encourage you to experiment. Now is the time to experiment with how many days a week, how long, and just listen to how your body reacts. If you get up at the end of the week, if you start a new thing Monday, and by Saturday you're fried and toast, you've done too much. A proper exercise program is going to complement what you do. It's going to make you feel better. It'll make you feel refreshed, rejuvenated. Your body will be doing different things on the biological level that your body is going to like, aka lowering a lot of the negative health markers and increasing positive ones. So, plus, exercise is one of the most beneficial stress relief that is known. So again, all these things, you should be feeling better. If you're not, you're doing too much. Now, the opposite's true. If you get to Saturday and it was too easy, you felt like, well, I'm bored, or I don't feel any anecdotal change, then I would argue you should do a little bit more. So here's the recommendation. Perk ears up again. Here we are. If you are just starting, I am recommending 4 to 5 days planned activity, 2 days of strength training where you're lifting weights. And if you haven't done it before, learn, YouTube it, or hire somebody. Hire an exercise professional. Workouts can be 45 minutes. I think that's completely reasonable. 45 minutes. You can maybe start with an online template. Just Google like full body workout. Just start there, or just start like beginner weightlifting routine, and maybe even start there. Find something for free, and you can always change things. But that's about right. 2 days a week weightlifting, 45 minutes. The other 2 days or 3 days, you can do some cardio. Take your pick of one of the two following. Number one, you can do a little bit of a high intensity interval training, which is an advanced concept. Google it again. We're in 2017. YouTube it. You can find the info of how to do it correctly. But essentially, it's going to be something like 45 seconds fast, 15 seconds slow. And continue that for 10 to 15 minutes, 2 or 3 times a week. Or you can do steady state. I'm not a hater of steady state cardio. I just look at it from a scientific reality point of view and just know that it's going to be limited. However, when you're first starting, 2 to 3 days of that for about a half hour. Pick a nice little pace. Maybe you're working 70% of your heart rate, and you're just kind of humming along, and do about a half hour, 20 minutes. That is a great start. Some of you, that might be too much. And then in that case, you would lower things down. Maybe do 2 days of lifting, 1 day of cardio. Some of you, it's too easy. Maybe you need to do an hour and 10 minutes of lifting on those 2 to 3 days to start. The idea that I want to tell you is, do not become a robot where you are just out there following some plan on the internet if you don't actually know how to follow plans and pick the correct one. This is the time to experiment. Try different lifts. Do different exercises. This is the time. Now, if you're somebody that is a quote-unquote seasoned veteran, or you're experienced, maybe you just hit a plateau, your recommendations aren't going to be all that different. 4 to 6 days of planned activity. Maybe you're doing 4 days of strength and weightlifting, and maybe 2 to 3 days of cardio. And your workouts might be an hour and a half on the lifting portions. And maybe on the cardio, you could do interval training for 20 minutes, or do steady state for 50 or 45 or something to that effect. Again, it's just scalable to your level, though. I think that's the thing that I want to get across to you guys. It's scalable. It's trial and error. If you're going to go at this on your own, you've got to get your feet wet at some point. Jump in. And so maybe and again, this is what I want to make sure I'm coming off the right way. I'm not hating on following workout programs that are already just done, like some generic program. I'm just saying, if you're going to follow that from beginning to end religiously, that might be the mistake. You might have to manipulate some things. Slow it down or speed it up in some cases, or make it harder or make it easier. And if that's you, if you want to follow a template, you can Google free work. Like, you'll find things for free. Go to menshealth.com, bodybuilding.com, use Google. You'll find free workouts. The worst thing you could probably do is pay somebody for exercise programming and not actually get it tailor-made. And this is where things get sticky, because there's a very big difference between customized and tailor-made. Customized versus tailor-made. We at Ramsley Fitness stopped using the word customized. And you want to know why? Because everybody else has hijacked that damn word, and everybody uses it, and nobody actually performs it. Customized nowadays is pre-drawing up maybe 4 or 5 different workouts instead of one, and then when you fill out a form with maybe just gives your age and your goal, they give you a plan. So for instance, if Billy Bob signs up for my chiseled ab routine, or he wants to lose belly fat and have a six-pack, I'm going to give him my super soldier ripped ab program that I have already drawn up. Maybe Susie Q signs up and pays me $60, and she lists out as her goals as just to tone a little bit and to grow a little bit bigger of a butt. Well, I'm going to give her the Fran Ramsden butt special. Here you go. But it's already drawn up still. So that's what's tricky about it. It really is tricky. Because people are able to create even 10 to 15 different templates, but they're all pre-done, and they're just putting you into a category. It's the same thing as before. It really is. Same thing we talked about earlier, where you're paying for a pre-plan, and I think that's a mistake. Probably 99% of the time. 99% of the time. TaylorMade is becoming, and this again, truly tailor-made. You know what? I got to do this. I have to take 2 minutes here to get this through to you, because I'm telling you right now, it's going to get lost in the rest of the episode. And it's just such a crucial point that I can't justify to myself to just let that slip. When you get a suit done, whether it's for prom or a wedding, right? You go into the tuxedo place. They take all these measurements of you. They're having you try on different shoes. They're taking down your shoe size. They're measuring you. They say, all right, come on back in a week. You come back, you try it on to make sure it fits. It almost without a doubt fits gorgeously. It fits perfect. If you've changed, maybe it's a couple months away and you've changed a little bit of body composition, they might have to change some things, but they retested about a week before your event, right? Nothing ever fits quite as good as that tailor-made outfit. That tuxedo boy, when we go to rent that, gentlemen, nothing fits quite that well. Women, same thing when you're getting a bridesmaid's dress or a prom dress or a wedding dress. You try it on, and then like a month before, a week before, whatever, I don't know that side as much. You retry it on, and there's some changes. They hem it back in, they fix it up real nice, and you try it on again, and it's beautiful. Again, fits perfectly. Perfectly. Nothing else really compares to that, does it? So tailor-made exercise programming is the same exact concept, just done for exercise. A company should sit there, listen first, learn everything about you as possible. Some could go as far as we do. We try to learn about medication. We try to learn about your doctor's blood results. We want to learn about your goals, your aspirations, what you can currently do, what you've done in the past, all that good stuff. We might take we're going to take your weigh-in measurements. We're going to measure your body circumference. And then over the course of 2 to 3 days after that information gathering period, we'll create a plan from absolutely ground up, 0 to 100, from scratch, tailor-made exercise program for that one person. And nobody else is going to have that workout program. Not any other person that comes for e-coaching or comes for our training gets the same workout that we've already just drawn up. That, my friends, is tailor-made. So if you're going to pay for a plan, don't drop $69.93 or $87.24. Don't drop that kind of money for some pre-drawn plan. Get it tailor-made from scratcho. It'll cost you more, but obviously it should. And obviously it's worth the value that you get back. Because now there's no guesswork if it's done properly. Now there's no guesswork. There may be a little bit of a trial period just to make sure to reinforce that information gathering period. But more than not, 1 to 2 weeks, it fits just like a glove. It fits just like that tuxedo. It's a perfect thing for you. The right combination of intensity without going too far. The right combination without going too far. Now, as we did in our pretext here, in the start of the show, we laid out that this is becoming more and more rare of people creating tailor-made programming. The reason is because the time suck. We might spend 2 hours on a client creating their exercise programming. 4 hours. It depends. Most people are doing the opposite. They're trying to figure out how to spend the least amount of time on a client. Which again, that calls into question that person's principles. But it's just not becoming popular because it doesn't make money. If you bring it down to the P&L balance sheet and you look at the per hour profit, it's just not as high. And so people are scared away from doing it. Good news is, like I just mentioned before the tailor-made programming section of this podcast, you can get stuff for free and try to tailor-make it yourself and play around with things. Doesn't just got to be shelling out money for stuff. The whole point of this podcast is to deliver on things that essentially we do with our clientele. And I'm trying to get the information to you guys in a digestible format that maybe you can use on your own, at least partially. If you can do 60% on your own, what clients can do with Ramsley Fitness, you're probably going to be okay. You're probably going to be okay. Takeaway from the podcast today, folks. Don't get into the hype of marketing. Don't let people tell you what success is. Don't let them say that, you sweat all over the place last class while we were bopping around and doing our little boopy boos. Oh, yes, we were having so much fun. Yeah, come on, ladies, put the hands in the middle. Yeah. Look, people can do that, hop around and try to make it fun. But don't be confused that that's going to lead to true health and fitness goals if you're playing the correct game, which should be 6 to 12 month sustainable fitness goals. You want to play the up and down game, you want to play the yo-yo, you want to play the 3 months of fun, then the 2 months of misery. You keep going to these people and keep being told that sweating all over the place is great for you, or that, if you're so sore, that means that you did the perfect workout. Go ahead. Keep going to those places. But at some point, personal responsibility will reign the day once again in this fitness industry. Thank you all for listening, and we can't wait to see you all next week.